Hey guys, how's everybody doing today? Wanted to talk to you about next Sunday where we are going to begin reopening some of our services in person here at the church. I wanted to say first that if you're in that high risk group or you live with someone who does or even if you're just concerned about it, about being out in public, we encourage you to stay home and continue to watch us online. We're going to continue doing that the same way we've been doing it. We're just opening up some in-person services for those who would choose that option for themselves or their family. Let me kind of tell you what that would look like for you coming. We do believe that the Bible teaches us in Romans 13 and other places that we are to submit to our local authorities, to those who are in authority over us. And so we are going to do our best where feasible to follow the guidelines given to us by our governor. And I'm thankful to live in a state where he's given us some leeway in areas where that might not be feasible, and we'll get to that in a minute. But I just want our goal is to provide for anyone who wants to come a touchless worship service. In other words, where you can come in, walk into the building, and sit down without having touched anything. And how that'll work is this: there'll be no carts operating during this phase of our reopening. There'll be hand sanitizing stations at every door, at every entrance. Right outside, we would encourage you to stop before you come in and make use of those. There will be greeters with masks at every outside door. They will open the door for you so you don't have to touch anything. The interior doors will be propped open so that you can literally walk right in and walk all the way over to a pew and sit down. There will be no coffee or donuts. We're not going to be serving anything during this period of time. We have changed our seating arrangements by removing pews so that you can sit down and also employ social distancing so that the pews are not too close to each other, and also so that there's enough spacing there that people can get in or out of aisles if they need to without having to come in close contact with people. You are welcome to wear a mask if you choose. We are not going to require that. At the end of the service, we will dismiss by rows to kind of help alleviate jams at the door and so that people can leave in an orderly manner without getting too close to other folks. We get it. This is going to be kind of a weird thing for a while. It's not the way we're accustomed to doing it. I know we're a church that, you see people all the time hugging one another, laughing, shaking hands, and we're going to ask for people not to do that during this time. Even if you don't feel like these things are necessary, that's fine, but we want to respect everyone else as well. So we would ask that you set an example by refraining from hugging, shaking hands, and doing another thing that requires close physical contact with people. Now, if you would like to come, here's what we're asking from you. We would like to ask you to reserve a ticket. You can go to our website. There'll be a link below this video or on it for you to click where you can go and reserve a seat. Because of the fact that we've had to remove pews, and we're also allowing space for social distancing, families can sit together. According to the governor's orders, if you attend the service with someone, you can sit by them as well. But in other ways, they're supposed to be 6 feet on either side of families or individuals who are sitting. And because of that and the fact that we've removed rows, there will be limited seating in both of the services that we're going to offer during the first week. So if you would like to come, you need one person per household needs to go to the website, to our greenwood.church, click on the place where it says to reserve seats for this week's service, and reserve however many people are in your family or your group that are going to be coming and sitting together. Once again, we'd like to encourage you that, if you're the least bit uncomfortable, even though we're going to do our best to enable ways for people to come in without touching anything or anyone, we can't guarantee that somebody is not going to get within 6 feet of you. And if that makes you uncomfortable, or you're uncomfortable with the fact that other people might come without wearing masks, then we would encourage you to stay home and continue to worship with us online. We would love for you to come and be a part of it, but we also understand that There are a lot of different situations out there, and we 100% understand that and support that. Our online services are going to continue as they have been with multiple camera angles, and we're going to do the best that we can to make those as good as we can and continue to improve on those as we go. There's a couple of things that I wanted to tell you about the schedules of when we come. We will have during this first phase reopening, we're going to have 2 worship services. There will be one at 9:45 and one at 11 o'clock. And that's a little different than what we've been doing. Some of you may remember that. Some of you haven't been here. It's been so long you don't even remember what time our services were, and that's fine too. But we had instituted a change that was supposed to take place right before Easter of changing our service times, and that was so that when we needed to, we could add a 4th service. One of the elements to this is we don't know how long we're going to need to do this as far as having seats out of the auditorium. And as the number of people grows that are returning to in-person worship services, we want to make certain that we can add extra services as we go. So at some point, we'll add a 3rd service that'll be at 8:30. And then if necessary, we can add another service in the afternoon to accommodate more or the same amount of people or whatever we were running before, and hopefully more, and still practice social distancing for as long as we need to do that. And we're not sure how long that will last. So those 2 services will be at 9:45 and 11, and the 11 o'clock service will be the one that we live stream. Also, there will not be childcare, children's, or youth activities during this phase of reopening. So, it's just impossible to practice social distancing when you're talking about kids. And from all the recommendations that we've seen, we're not going to reopen childcare, children's activities, or youth activities during this time. So the only place where we'll be open is in the main sanctuary for worship service. You know, if you're concerned about if you have smaller kids and you don't think you're going to be able to keep them there during that time, then you know what, we may have to do different things differently for a while. Maybe you trade off with a spouse and one of you come to one service and the other one come to another one, or maybe you continue online for a while. But just remember that whatever kids you bring, that you're going to need to be responsible for keeping them in your area, which I know is not always an easy thing with some of those younger kids, and that may affect your ability to come right now. We totally understand that. We wish it could be different, but it just can't right at this point. So there's a couple of things I'd encourage you. If you're one of those that says, well, I don't care what anybody says, I'm going to hug everybody and do blah, blah, I would encourage you not to come, because we want to make certain that other people that come feel like that they're not going to be put into an awkward position if someone walks up to them and wants to hug them or shake their hands, and they may not be ready to do that, or they may have a condition or live with someone that has a condition that you know nothing about. So we're going to assume that everybody else we come in contact with here on Sundays wants us to practice social distancing. And if you don't feel like you can do that, then stay home for a little bit longer, and when it's safe to do that again, we'll let you know. Also, if you're one of those people that feel like it's your place in life to point out to everybody else, when they're not doing it right, we don't want people running around going, social distance violator, social. We don't want that either. You need to stay home too, okay? And hopefully when we get this all down and we get a little bit farther along, then everybody will be able to come back, and we'll be able to go back to our mission as usual about reaching out our community and the people that we love and come in contact with. So if you have other questions, feel free to let us know. Oh, one thing I did forget, we will have teams that are wiping down all surfaces in high traffic areas in between services and as needed during the 2 services that are going on. So we're doing our best to make sure that everything's clean when you get here. It'll be clean before the second service, and then before the next week's services, of course, we'll have time to do that. Those are the things that we're trying to do to follow the governor's guidelines. We appreciate the fact that he's allowing us to meet together again for those who would like to, and we want to honor as much as we can the suggestions that they gave us about how to do that and to do it safely. So we appreciate your cooperation. It's going to be awkward for a while. I get it. It's going to be a little different. And I don't believe this is going to be the new normal, like people are saying. I think it's a temporary thing, and that we'll be able to get past it at some point, and we'll be back to hugging one another, shaking hands, and sitting next to each other in the sanctuary as we always have. And so until that time comes, we ask that you be cooperative with us. We're trying to learn how to do this too. And hey, in 6 months, we'll all be experts about how to reopen a church. But right now, we're doing the best that we can. And if you see something that didn't work or that we need to look at changing, let us know. And we will meet and talk about that and try to find ways to get better as we go forward. So we appreciate your prayers. We appreciate your support. And we look forward to being with you this Sunday, whether that's with your family worshiping at home or whether you choose to come here and worship with us in person. Hope you have a great week. Make sure you click on the link and reserve your seats. And one way or another, we'll see you soon.